session, what I'm going to go through is how to get the secret to get true freedom in your business. Now, a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, we got into doing what we're doing, or we wanted to do what we do initially because most of us want freedom, right? Most of us chose not to go down the path, the sometimes easier path of getting a job, waking up Monday morning, trudging off to work, and not particularly, living being part of the rat race, right? The 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 8 to 6, whatever it might be, where you punch the clock, you have little to no control over your day, your week. If your boss has a bad day and he comes in and screams at everyone, you cop it, you can't say anything back about it. If you're supposed to get, finish up at 6 and the boss says, hey, I need this done by tomorrow, you've got to stay until midnight to get it done. And they don't particularly care about you, your family, how hard you worked the day before, whatever it might be. Most of us, us entrepreneurs, we chose to go down this path because we wanted to avoid all of that. We wanted to be the leader, the controller of our future, of our life, have the choice and control to do what we want, when we want, and have as much impact as we want, as much control, as much input, and be able to actually be in the driver's seat of our life, right? And sometimes, for those of you who are in the entrepreneurial path, look, it can be a lonely path, it can be a tough path, and most people who are down that path, depending on where you're at, will at some time think, God, it would be easier if I would just get a job, right? I wouldn't have to think about this, that, whatever. But deep inside in our heart, we know that that's not for us, right? That's not going to give fulfillment. That's not going to give happiness. And that's not going to get us to the life that we want, right? Now, realistically, we get into this for those things, to have the control, to have the freedom, to have the ability to have more impact, right? But then we get to a stage in the journey, the entrepreneurial journey, where the business that we've built actually, it's more of a handcuff, right? You end up building something that's amazing and it does whatever it needs to do, gets you a good income, has good impact. You're in the driver's seat, but at the same time, it's really like your business and or your team, your staff, your employees, your systems kind of control you and your day, right? Even though that you're the boss, you're the CEO, you're the owner, you're the one that's paying all the bills, the invoices, people's salaries, whatever it might be, you tend to feel like you're kind of trapped within your business. And rather than working on your business, you're always working within the business, right? Now, it kind of sucks because, like I said, you got into it for something else and you work your butt off, and then you get into, you kind of have all the negatives without the positive, if that makes sense. And a lot of people get stuck in there. Now, the key to the entrepreneurial journey, when you first start off, you're kind of like what they call a solopreneur, right? You're running everything, you're doing everything, you're wearing every hat, your accounts, you are marketing, your sales, your lead generation, your website dev, tech, you're everything. You got to wear every hat because you only got so much cash flow, so many clients that you're really trying to bootstrap it, right? And then you can either go one or two ways. You can stay as a solopreneur, or you can start to get some team, some staff, right? And both of them have their negatives. Both of them have amazing positives if you do it right, but both can have their negative if you don't set it up correctly. Now, the key to getting back the freedom in your business, to getting to where you want it to truly be, or where you want it to be from the start, the key to it is not necessarily just bodies. It's not people, it's not staff, right? And it's not necessarily systems, right? There's really two pieces that I've just gone through that give leverage. It's systems and automations, machines doing the heavy lifting rather than you doing it, or people doing the heavy lifting for you rather than you doing it, right? Now, a lot of people will have a business and they will be like, I tried hiring some staff. I got some people into my business, right? I hired this contractor, I got this staff member, whatever. And all it did is just give me more work, more stress, and more of a handcuff, because now I had to pay their salary. I had to worry about their shit. If they had an off day, a good day, whatever, I had to manage them. I had to constantly remind them what they're doing, be in the time that they, should be in, just to try and show that I'm a good boss or whatever it might be, right? Alternatively, they go the other path and they build systems and automation, and then they end up drowning in tech, right? Now, most people dip their toe in either one of those two or both, and then just revert back out and go, you know what, I'm just going to go back to being a solopreneur, doing it all myself, because it was harder the other way. Now, let me tell you, the true secret to getting freedom is not bodies and people, right? And it is not just systems and automation. Really, what it is the two when they're perfectly aligned together. Now, what I mean by that is systems and automations, you can drown in tech and they can slow you down, right? Way too many people get too much tech, too many systems, and then they end up going, well, none of that was that useful, right? Alternatively, they just go and hire people, and they don't set up the systems properly to manage the people. And as a result, the management of the people, the cleaning up of the shit that happens in the background, it ends up giving you more workload, more stress, right? So people are like, it's hard to find good staff. It's this, is that. Really, it's not, right? You can have mediocre staff, and as long as you have good systems, tracking and accountability for that staff, then it'll work, right? And it'll give you massive leverage, it'll give you massive happiness and impact, right? But if you have great staff and you have great, basic systems that they need, you set them up for success, then it's a whole nother story. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if you get mediocre staff and you have terrible systems, or even if you get great staff and you get terrible systems, or you don't have like a clear outline of what they're supposed to do each day, how they report it in, so on and so forth, that you have to consistently just hover behind them and like clean up after them, then any good stuff, you'll lose them quick because no one wants to be micromanaged. Any bad stuff, you're going to want to fire them quick because you're like, this person's just terrible. And any mediocre staff will just go one way or the other. And it will never give you the leverage you want. You'll put time, effort, and energy into the team, and they'll either just screw things up if they're bad staff, or they'll just leave if they're good staff because they'll go elsewhere. Good people don't stick around in bad businesses, right? So you need to have a good business, good systems, good structure, and allow good people to flourish within it. They'll stick around long term, and they'll make your life amazing. They'll make the business amazing. They'll have more impact than it ever would have just with you. It'll make more money than it ever would just with you, and so on and so forth. So, and you have a whole lot more happiness. So the point I'm trying to make today is that I've been down the path of all of those. I've made all the mistakes, and I've even made the mistakes and then after the mistake blamed it on, it's just so hard to find good staff these days, or the systems are crap, or whatever it might be. But it wasn't until I looked inwards and it was like, I hired good people, but I was like, they're going to start Monday, and then maybe, I'll get around to putting together the job description or what they need to do on Monday. Damn, I didn't get around to it. I'll get on Tuesday. I'll get around to it on Thursday. I didn't quite, I half-assed the training, explaining what to do. I kind of just threw them in the deep end, so on and so forth. And ultimately, it was my fault, right? Because I didn't have the right ecosystem or environment for them to flourish. And so they will either leave if they're good staff, or they'll just screw things up massively if they're bad staff. And then you go back to square one. So my point being is, hire slow, never hire fast, and have them set up for success. Set them up for success. And a good person will flourish and a bad person will fail, right? And that's how you identify they're bad. And that's fine. That's totally cool, because then you just go, you know what, this isn't a good fit. You move them on. And then you take your time, you hire slow, you find a good person. You're never going to hit home runs all the time in terms of staff. But as I said, you can even get mediocre staff and have great systems or great setup, a great planning before you bring them on. And that can take a mediocre staff to like an A grader, turn them into an A grader, because you'll set up the ecosystem for them to succeed, right? And this is going to sound weird, but you need to be honest with yourself and look inwards. Most of the times where staff and systems fail, it's because you, within your business, set it up to fail, right? And you might be sitting there going, oh, no, that's not true, Chris. But if you take a little bit of time to actually think about it and be honest to yourself, majority of times when things fail, it's because of, there's a saying in business, the fish rots from the head, right? And what that means is that the head of the business, everything rots downwards, right? And so if the head of the fish is rotting, it's going to rot down. So if the CEO, the owner, the director of the business is not setting things up for success, right, it only flows down, right? So you need to lead from example. You need to set things up for success. And yes, there will be times where someone will come in and they might not be the right fit. You might have hired, the wrong person. But that's okay. If you have it all set up correctly, you will identify that quickly. They will understand that as well. And you can easily have a conversation. They will know the conversation's coming. And it'll just be, you know what, all good. We tried it. It's not a good fit. Then you take your time. Then you're going to find someone amazing thereafter. Like, it's not a failure to hire someone, realize they're not a fit within, say, a week, and move them on, and then find the great person. That's not a failure, right? The failure is to hire someone bad, keep them long, not have them set up for success, or hire someone mediocre or good and not have them set up for success, so they fail or they leave to find a better business, right? Good people don't, I'm going to remind you on this, I said it earlier, good people don't stay in bad businesses, right? And so if you want to attract good people, fish rots from the head, you need to get your shit sorted first. Hire slow, don't knee-jerk stuff, because once again, that is the fish rotting from the head. That's you not setting up for success. So hopefully that makes sense. Where you need more freedom, you want to finally get what you jumped into this entrepreneurial journey for, right? Not just for long days, hard nights, stress, but to be the boss, right? But to actually have a business that works for you, right? Have a business that has more impact than you ever could as alone, and provides you income, but also financial opportunities for people in your team, right? And allows them to grow in their journey. That's the perfect circle. That's the perfect place to be. That's when good people will come. They'll be attracted to it and they'll want to stick around long term. So hopefully that makes sense. Put the effort, put the time in, right? It is a waste of energy and time of hiring bad people, setting them up for failure. They fail, you fire, you hire again, you hire again, you hire again, you hire again. That is a complete waste of energy and time. Whereas if you put in just 1/10 of that energy and time into the first piece of it, put someone into a great environment, right? Then that person will pay you back in terms of whether it's monetary or value or business growth or impact 100-fold over the next year, 2, 3, right? So do the work up front, right? If you need any help on any of this sort of stuff and you're really stuck and you want to have some SOPs or whatever it might be on different roles within your business, hit me up, send me a DM. I'll be happy to get you anything you might need that I might have on that. Or you can email me, chris@tribefit.co. That is it from me. Bye for now.